The Cubs might already have an ace. Find out who that is and a whole lot more on a Tuesday episode.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Tuesday episode as we roll along in the offseason here. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. And we talk Northsiders today. Shout out to the audio peeps, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. And if you're watching and or listening on YouTube. Sam, the Cubs perhaps lack a number one starting pitcher entering the 2023 season, but as you could see by the rundown, and if you're listening on the screen right now, was Justin Steele's name. A pitcher that Sam thought was a reliever early on during last season.
True.
Let's not let him hear the end of that one. But in all seriousness, the left-hander did become a pleasant surprise in 22. He emerged not only as a legit starter, but a starter who could help lead the Cubs to contention potentially in 23 and beyond. I'm going to hit you with a stat, and then we'll get into it. So from June 29th to his final start on August 26th, he made his last start in the 26th because of injury. Steele was perhaps the best pitcher in baseball. Did you know the lefty posted a 1.49 ERA in 54 innings, allowing 46 hits while walking 29 and striking out 65? He finished the year with a 3.18 ERA and a 1.35 whip. Sam Steele certainly had that great stretch over that 2 months, and he's quite frankly an exciting pitcher entering this campaign.
Yeah, I think, ace is a word we'll talk about in a little while that's tricky. What I think is obvious is he's going to have to be a very good pitcher for the Cubs to be a good team. I think that's pretty obvious. When breaking down his success last year, I've said this on the show before. He reminds me a little bit of righty Tristan McKenzie on the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, that's an interesting comp.
And I mean this in the sense that I watch him pitch, both of them, and I come away and I kind of can't figure out why they're so good. And both guys lean on that invisible fastball that has a high spin rate, that looks very hittable, that's 92 to 93 miles an hour, that for whatever reason guys just can't hit or at least put in play, good contact, right? The interesting thing about Steele's numbers from 21 to 22 is he was obviously took 3 massive steps forward in 2022, but his whip actually went up, and his homers per nine, his hits per nine actually went up. So, what I think is interesting about that is
more action on the bases.
Yeah, I think the point is his hits per nine went down a lot. His homers per nine. Sorry, I'm reading it says H9, HR per nine. His hits per nine went up. His homers per nine went down. His walks went down. I think he was really able to just manage contact much better last year. And his stuff was better. His strikeouts were up. I think it's pretty sustainable, really, with Steele. I think the ace question is innings. When I think about an ace, I think about it's not just numbers. It's about innings. It's about, hey, this guy's going to eat up 7 innings for me almost every time down, and he's going to save the bullpen. And that's not the pitcher Justin Steele is yet. And it's why originally I had my doubts about him as a starter. I never doubted the stuff. It's just Steele will have a couple of games where he goes 4 2/3 shutout innings, but his pitch efficiency isn't great, and then he has to come out early. I don't think that's as big of a deal in 2023 as it was 10 years ago. It's just there's not many guys that go 7 innings, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
But, is he an ace or not? Well, he's not yet. Could he be? Sure. But I think it's more important that the Cubs just stack up good starters, and he's definitely one of those.
Yeah, he certainly is that, and I'll share with you who's in the mix for the starting rotation on opening day here in a minute. I think the pitch efficiency is a great point, because I think we as Cubs fans are looking for, desiring a pitcher who can perhaps go deep in a ball game, and we haven't necessarily seen that now since, I would say, in all fairness, 2019, I would say.
Since Hendricks was Hendricks.
Yeah. And so I think with Steele, you do keep track of his pitches. I think my tendency as a fan right now is to, every so often I look at that pitch counter on the score bug, because that's ultimately what it comes down to now.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you have 12, 13, 14, 15 pitches per frame, you will just organically go deeper in a ball game. That's not any coincidence.
Sure.
If you're getting 15 pitches or less in an inning, that is an outstanding job. And, oftentimes now these starters are pushing up against 20 pitches an inning. Well, then we shouldn't necessarily expect them to pitch into the 6th or the 7th. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, right? And obviously the opponent has a game plan going in, and the advanced reports and the video and all these changes that have happened. But I think for Steele to increase his outing just a little bit would be great. I know he's now due. This early in your career, you're due for your career innings. This is only going to be his 3rd year.
Right.
How is he going to handle that? Don't know. Fangraphs has him right now as a 2-win pitcher, which for a 3rd-year starter, it's okay. But the projection model doesn't like him that much. What does like him? My eyes. He passed the eye test for me. The Triston McKenzie comp is, again, I know you don't want me to patronize you, but find a show that's going to make a comp like that. Because
let me just interrupt. I think he's a year away from I could see him having the year this year that McKenzie had last. I think he's a year behind.
Sure.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
There's 9 guys right now in the mix for the rotation. That's a lot. I think 6 of them will probably make the team. Right now, I have in the mix Steele, Stroman, Taillon, Smiley, Hendricks, Sampson, Wisniewski, Assad, and Killian. I think the latter 3 are going to make for a great 1 through 3 in Des Moines to open the year. I'd like to do a Wisniewski episode potentially this week, Sam. We'll see how it shakes out.
Absolutely.
But you have a major league capable guys here. The jury's still out on a few, but there's no clear number 1. And as much as we want Marcus Stroman to be that, he's just not. Right. And no one really on this list is. And we don't know about a couple of them because they're young guys. But Steele does have the opportunity, if possible,
sure,
to be that number 1 guy.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about how rotations work and aces work here in a sec. I'll just close this by saying I just want to look up McKenzie. So McKenzie last year was year 3. Steele's about to go into year 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Year 2 for McKenzie, 5-9 with a 4.95. So he didn't have the jump that Steele had. It was more like Steele's rookie year. And then last year he jumps to a 2.96, a whip under 1. Right. Goes from 120 innings, which is right around where Steele was last year, to 191 innings.
Wow.
And they just have similar profiles. The only difference with those guys is obviously McKenzie's better right now. And also McKenzie gives up a lot more home runs. But, my point is you see these type of jumps everywhere. It's so hard to predict. But what I want to talk about after the break is breaking down what type of pitching staff equates to success in the major leagues and going around that, because I think the Cubs have a little bit more secrets than people think.
On the other side, we go over that, including keeping track of how many teams actually have a number one pitcher coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the number one sports book in America. If you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Sam, do you like anything for this Sunday in the big game?
I haven't dug too far into it yet. I think it's a classic. You're betting on a player versus a team game. I haven't really gotten there yet.
This is all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use, so don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On Cubs. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. As I was doing some homework on Justin Steele, I considered a question. How many teams have a true number one pitcher in their rotation? It turns out a lot of them do, Sam. There's 16 of the 30 teams.
Sure.
A few teams have two pitchers, I think, that fit that bill. Some teams have a close call that I put a question mark next to their name, and some teams have none.
So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go.
So I want to do a quick exercise about the last 5, 6, 7 World Series champions and then take a look at their pitching staff. Okay.
Right.
Let's start with the 2016 Chicago Cubs. Okay. They had three studs, three guys with an ERA either under 3 or just over 3 in Arrieta's case, I believe. Okay. 17 Astros had Verlander, Garrett Cole, I believe so. All those guys. 18 Red Sox, I believe. I remember they had Eovaldi. They're the only team that really hit their way where their starting pitching wasn't as dominant. 19 Nationals were Scherzer and Steven Strasburg, who won the World Series MVP. I think Patrick Corbin was mixed in there. 2020 Dodgers, we all know they have 85 really good pitchers. The 2021 World Series champion Braves, again, they were a little bit lighter, but they had Max Fried. They had a couple other guys. And then last year, the Astros had pitchers on pitchers. Verlander in the regular season. Framber Valdez was excellent. Christian Javier, Quiddy. They were loaded. So my point is, I'm not as concerned about, do we need a true number one? Yes, I wanted a guy that misses bats for the profile of the rotation. But to me, if you're going to have a serious rotation to try and win, you have to have like a lot of horses, like a lot of them. And you put up that graphic earlier, and that's a pretty strong amount of depth with pitching. Sure, none of them are going to wow you, but I think the game is trending more toward quantity. Good quality, but with more quantity of arms, as opposed to, hey, we just got these two guys. They're going to go every 3 days and in October, and that's going to win it. Like, the Koufax days in the 60s when he would pitch, he'd start 3 games in a 7-game series and go all 9. You know what I mean? The times have changed. So I think, I know you want to talk about aces, which is fine, but I also think depth is just as important as aces in today's game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the question of, do you even need a true ace on your team in this day and age? I know it's something that we got into a couple of weeks ago with the Locked On MLB crossover with Sully.
Yeah.
And he was making the case that you don't necessarily need one, or pitchers are built differently. I want one.
Yeah.
I don't know about need, and I understand the point about depth and horses and sure, however you want to put it, but I want one.
Yeah.
I think that it's better to have one. If I had to pick between, depth or, I have a clear number one plus a little more, I just think the clear number one, I just feel so much better about my ball club.
Now, let me ask you a question, though, because health is such a big part of it. For example, would you rather have this rotation right here or take out Tyone, take out Stroman?
This be good.
Take out Tyone, take out Stroman, and it's Steele and DeGrom. And the reason, of course, on paper it looks better, but DeGrom may not pitch 100 innings.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so upset with Stroman's season last year in the sense that, he had some blow-up starts, but Stroman is there to be there every fifth day. The Cubs got him because he has a good bill of health. If Steele pitches the way he's capable of, Tyone builds on last year, and Stroman's healthy all year, yes, is that a three-headed monster that terrifies you? No. But that depth,
reliability,
over the course of a regular season might help. Now, to your point, in the postseason, you got to have guys that say, hey, Johnny Lester, pick us up. We need one of those vintage starts. It's game 5 at home. We're down 3-1 in the series. I need you to dominate these Cleveland Indians at the time.
And I just don't know how much the Cubs are going to score. If you zoom in on this season and this roster, I still don't know if they're going to score.
Right.
So if you talk about DeGrom and Steele, okay, because they don't have to score as much now.
Right.
But now you have, these reliable guys, but with the model that they're building, I don't know how much times they are going to outslug another team, the team across the field. So, I think that's a big question mark.
Yeah, I think it's a big question mark, and I agree with what you're saying. I also
Where's
think
Carlos Rodon? Oh yeah, he's in the Bronx.
I think money's a big part of it too. I think
sure.
you're going to see teams start to be very apprehensive about giving pitchers a lot of guaranteed money, because at the end of the day, God forbid, I would never obviously wish any injury on anybody, but if Carlos Rodon were to get hurt, that investment,
he does have a little bit of an injury history.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That investment, if he misses, let's say this year, were to miss a large portion of this year, that investment just, becomes a sunk cost very quickly. And so, I think you have to develop these arms internally, which the Cubs seem to be doing a good job of. Shout out to Lindsey Crosby.
Yes.
And go from there. But I guess the point is, you want an ace, and I'm with you. I just, how many of them are there really there? You said 16 of 30 teams. How many guys are pitching? I don't consider Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer's nailed on aces anymore. Those guys are old. They're not going to be able to pitch 200 innings this year. Clayton Kershaw's not going to pitch 200 innings anymore.
Okay, well, that's 2 teams off the board then. So now there's 14.
Yeah. Well, I think Urias would.
Well, I had Kershaw.
You could pick 15 of these guys: Buehler, Gonsolin, Kershaw. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a who's who over there of great pitching.
Well, breaking down the division, the Pirates don't have an ace.
St. Louis doesn't.
The Reds have Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. They still are emerging.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, do you consider Wainwright or Flaherty or Michaelis an ace?
No, too many question marks.
Only one team has one, and they have 2.
Right.
Burns and Woodruff.
Really 2.5.
So you add Peralta in there as well. Wow, you really like Peralta.
I think he's really good, yeah.
Well, the Cubs are going to beat him in Game 3 on opening weekend.
Okay.
But,
it's food for thought. It's a good conversation piece.
What did you have for dinner tonight?
I think the Cubs have enough depth to at least be intrigued with their starting pitching. I had Chipotle tonight. I had a little salad with some chicken, white rice, black bean.
Coming up next, the Cubs announced their spring training roster. Who's going to be in Sloan, including non-roster invitees and some prospects? Find out after this. Looking for a delicious treat but don't want all of the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. They are perfect for snacking during the workday, maybe after a long day at work or a workout. They're covered in 100% real chocolate, but they're healthy. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. They have unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And for the first time ever, in addition to ordering your Built Bars at Built.com, you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. We've been talking about it now for a little bit. Walk into your local Walmart or Sam's Club the next time you swing by and ask about Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box in store, cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. So go to Built.com, Sam's Club, or Walmart to get yourself a Built Bar today. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. If you enjoy the show, tell someone about it. Send a tweet, make a Facebook post, put the link in an email, or simply tell a Cubs fan the next time you see them. We would love to spread the word this month and leading up to opening day about the show. The Cubs announced on Monday their spring training roster, including 32 non-roster invitees, 17 pitchers, 7 infielders, 5 outfielders, and 3 catchers. A few different things that we could break down here with everybody is some of the prospects. You have PCA as a non-rostered player. You have Matt Mervis, a few others as well. If you remember Braylon Marquez once upon a time, Sam, he's back. And
do you remember when he made his debut?
Yeah, the shortened year.
Yeah, on the South Side.
And of course, Sam, we have Mark Leiter Jr. as a non-roster player. So
I'm still alive, folks. I'm still breathing.
I also have a roster here with numbers. I would love to maybe run down some of those. Not necessarily now, but we could kind of make a game out of it moving forward. You know, the player that I want to see the most is, in that Cubs uniform, right? Mm-hmm. The white pinstripes of Sloan. And boy, would I like to go on a trip there and do some live shows? Yeah. Is Matt Mervis.
Yeah.
Okay, is that breaking news to anybody? Okay, bat him 3rd, 4th, or 5th in his Sloan debut, please. Don't mess around. Don't have him pinch hit in a ball game. Start his bleep in a spring training game, and let's see him rake a little bit in the warm air.
Boy, I'll tell you, if he hits in spring training, well, how much spring training is he actually going to have? Because he's playing in the WBC, isn't he?
Well, yeah, I don't know if he made the team. The rosters haven't been announced yet. But.
Yeah. Boy, if he has a big spring, that's going to be their worst nightmare.
And Matt Mervis is going to be the proud owner of an offensive lineman number, good old number 79.
Ugh, that's shameful. What's PCA wearing?
Oh, boy. PCA is good old number 70.
I'm excited to watch those kids.
You really like PCA.
Is Canario on there?
Who doesn't? No. Remember, Canario's out for a lot of the year.
Oh, yeah, he's hurt. He's hurt, right?
Yeah.
Is Davis on there? She's still fighting an injury.
Brendan Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here somewhere. It's a big roster.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Canario is number 80.
Yeah,
he's on the 40, man. Brendan Davis, number 94, defensive line.
Yeah, I don't think Canario's going to be out there. Is he going to be out that long?
I think so, yeah. We'll see. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
I'm excited to watch these kids.
Darius Hill, good old number 89. So anyway, we'll go through some of these as we, continue on.
PCA should be, anytime he's in the lineup, you should be streaming or watching.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to play around with our post-game model a few times during the spring schedule.
Boy, you better stick with us throughout the season, folks. We're going to have post-game shows, big games. It's going to be amazing. The ninth inning hits and you run. We're already live on YouTube, and I'm either screaming in positivity or negativity.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button as we make the push to 100+ likes per episode. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your pods. And remember, you can drop us a text, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Now make your second Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. Locked On MLB Prospects, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.